And welcome into a special Level 1 playoff edition of the Final Drive. I'm Zach Hanley. He's Andrew Banstra, and the road to Camp Randall officially starts tonight.
Yeah, Zach, and just 4 wins gets you a shot at taking home that state championship. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We have to take it 1 week at a time, and no one knows that any better than Verona. And for as much dominance as the Wildcats have had over the last couple of years, they haven't won a playoff game since 2016. To buck that trend, they'd have to stay in the Big 8, hosting Janesville Parker, who lost by 3 points to Verona earlier this year. Wildcats leading 7-zip in the second quarter. Parker punts and it's blocked. Lucas Strasser gets his hand on it, and it's scooped up by Rowan Boniface. Just like that, Verona in scoring position, and they would capitalize. These two are a better combination than peanut butter and jelly. Elijah Lagomasino to Mike Velichka for the touchdown. Make it 13-0 Verona. And then to start the second half, Parker kicking off, and you didn't think we'd make it all the way throughout this highlight without mentioning Trey Poteet now, did you? Poteet fields it from the 10, turns on the burners. He'd pick up a big block, and number 3 has that turf-burning speed. Chugging and lugging all the way to the 20-yard line, and the 70-yard return would set up this. Feed the rock to Chase Bredesen and get out of the way. Touchdown Wildcats, and they would never look back. Verona gets their first playoff win since 2016 and win it 25-0, the final. Elsewhere in Division I, Sun Prairie's West season comes to an end. The Wolves finish 5-5 in year 2 of the program, and Middleton takes down Memorial 28-20. So next week it'll be a level 2 matchup between Verona and Middleton.
Last season, Sun Prairie East reached level 3 of the playoffs, where they fell to eventual Division II champ Kettle Moraine. This year, the Cardinals come rolling into the postseason, winners of 6 straight. East hosting Hartford in their playoff opener. Orioles driving in the first quarter on 4th down. They decide to go for it, and Reed Genders picks up the first and more. He runs it in to make it 7-0 Hartford, but Sun Prairie East would answer in a big way. Drew Cavanaugh hits Cooper White, and the dude's got some wiggle to him. White makes one man miss and then throws up the deuces. Cardinals go on to win 38-31. They'll face Monona Grove, who beat Nicolet in level 2 of the playoffs. Some other scores from D2. Waunakee moves on to level 2 with a 49-6 win over Holman. The Warriors will face the Redhawks of La Crosse Central, who beat DeForest, and Beaver Dam fell to Slinger 38-28.
After an undefeated season, Mount Horeb was rewarded a top seed in Division III. Casey Helgeson is a big reason for that. He's top 10 in the entire state in passing yards and touchdowns, which left the Vikings hosting 3-6 Seymour tonight. But the second you reach this level 1, you take no opponent for granted. Vikings learned that lesson quickly. First minutes of the game, Seymour's Xavier Salzman on the direct snap, and he wiggles his way in for the score. Just like that, MHB trails by a touchdown. But here come the Vikings. It's every single week with these two right here. They torch defenses and take names. Casey Helgeson puts it right in Chris Keel's breadbasket, 45-yard bomb, and that big gainer would set up this. Mount Horeb, that's Casey Helgeson on the read option, keeps it himself and bruises defenders on the way to the promised land. They get the touchdown and the 2-point conversion and a whole lot more points. They go on to win it 41-20. MHB will play Baraboo next week, who beat Toma. Looking around for some other scores in D3, the Cheesemakers of Monroe took it to New Berlin. Meanwhile, McFarland went down to Milwaukee and took care of business, winning 38-10. And in other news, Stoughton lost tonight to Greendale.
Down in Division 4, the Hillmen continued their winning ways, knocking off the Eagles of Jefferson 35-21. That sets up a Platteville-Lakeside Lutheran matchup in level 2. Lodi and Lake Mills also moved on in D4 from our area, while Wisconsin Dells had their season come to an end. The reward for going 8-1 in the regular season, dominating just about everyone on their schedule and finishing second in the Capital Conference, a 3 seed in the Division 5 bracket. Kind of a head-scratcher if you're Columbus, but I'm sure they'll use it as motivation. The reigning state champs open up with Broadhead Judah. First quarter, Cardinals on the move thanks to who else? Colton Brunel, the senior, needed 183 yards to break the state's all-time rushing record. He did that and then some. That tutty puts Columbus up 7-0, but it wasn't all Brunel tonight. Connor Roche, he can scoot too. He gets to the sidelines, turns on the Jets, and finds pay dirt. Cards go up 14-zip. And then later, check this out. It's Peyton Powers setting his feet and chucking it deep to Brady Link. and that's a snag in the end zone. Columbus gets a 49-0 win. They'll face Prairie du Chien next Friday.
Last year, Marshall made it all the way to level 3 in the playoffs, and they return with a vengeance. Marshall marches back into the playoffs this year on the backs of a potent offense. The 8-1 Cardinals hosted Howard Grove in level 3. 3 minutes left in the half, and we are still scoreless. Howard's Grove trying to change that. Trent Grunewald hands off to Tyler Rittenhouse, and it's a touchdown. 6-0 Howard's Grove as we head into half. And then in the third quarter, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Grunewald again hands off to Rittenhouse, who's got a house call. Howard's Grove makes it 14-0. They go on to win it 14-6 to knock off number 9 Marshall. Some more scores from Division 6. Darlington tops Belleville. They'll get their SWAL rival Mineral Point next week. Meanwhile, Lancaster takes down Cambridge. They'll face Kenosha St. Joseph, who beat Cuba City tonight.
And finally, in Division 7, Potosi-Cassville advances to level 2. They'll face River Ridge, who beat Highland. Well, Johnson Creek also moving on. They get Blackhawk Warren next week. Cambria, Friesland, and Randolph were also winners tonight.